now the opportunity is here. NCLF is providing an opportunity for, if you have a certificate or preference that you got at some point, it is still valuable. Come forth with that. Let's let people know that they're still out there, that they haven't launched out, and maybe we can ignite a new revolution of people coming back to San Francisco and living, Black people coming back to San Francisco that has been displaced, and the affordability now has been an issue, but maybe this can level the playing field and we would get opportunities for them to come back.
Well, which is a great idea, and in our churches, perhaps there's something that we can do to get the word out, because so many of us right now, with the twos and fews that we have, our young people, as you indicated, are having trouble affording the situation because of the policies that were set up over the last 5 decades to push us out of this area. And so now the issue is, how can we bring folks back? As you were talking about, go get bigger and better, not realizing 20 years later you're hurting yourself, because all those folk want to go to church out there now, but their children are not here. So the question is, what can we do to really encourage folks, our congregation, their families, their friends, their neighbors out there in across the bay and in the peninsula, to see if they have a certificate of preference?
I actually have a few family members who have a certificate of preference, and they're sitting on. What does that look like? I think many of us are trying to figure out. Most are in their own little zone in which they're trying to figure it out by themselves. But what I think is going to be beautiful is that NCLF is giving people the opportunity to not sequester themselves, but to be in community, to kind of help them figure out what does it look like to do that and share that information. And hopefully, and I'm going to say this, hopefully they understand not only what they're coming into, but how they would be able to, like you said, do generational wealth and make sure they put it in trust back to their own children. So there can be Black wealth, if you will, in San Francisco. I think our churches need to do this because for their own need, not just for people to come back into their church, but it also is a proof that I love the people that are here, right, and the people who can come back here. It's not just about I'm doing this so you could come to my church, but I'm doing this because I love you and I want to see the best out of what you can bring. And the beauty is, like I always say, we've been pushed out in so many different kind of ways. And I'll say this, love Bayview-Hunters Point. That's where I'm at right now. But it should not have been the Black African-American Art and Cultural District. It should have been Fillmore. Why don't we have more people in Fillmore? Why don't, even Lakeview at one point was Black.
Very Black.
But many of them got pushed out. Many of them pushed out not only for various reasons. They can't get back. And I just believe this is a beautiful opportunity of an invitation to come and be a part of it.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start preaching sermons on Sunday about this exodus in the midst of Black. That's one thing the church can do. But I remember when I first came to San Francisco 35 years ago, I wanted to live here, but I couldn't. And it hurted my heart. I couldn't afford it. I barely had a job, and I had 4 kids, and, I had to feed those kids. And at the same time, I believe it was Peak Palace. It was tearing Peak Palace up, and a lot of those folk was, raffling it. They wanted to be that. Then they started in Bayview. I never forget working with a family that was old and they couldn't get upstairs. So they lived down in the garage. And so they sold the house and they was put out. They couldn't get out. And these old people, I believe they died without living in a home, but they had a home. So that CP, I call it a certificate of preference, was very effective then. But a lot of them couldn't find their way in San Francisco to live. So they went out to Fairfield. And then after a while, the crime in Fairfield got so bad, they blamed it on people from San Francisco. They blamed it on, at the same time, still had crime. But that kind of, slowed that movement down. So, that's what I'm going to do. I did preach sermons on exodus from the city and different things about the problem that Black people is having. I'm an advocate for Black people. That's kind of thing I do that. But we got to come up with a tool, and I believe this conversation we have going to elevate that. It's going to help that because the people need to hear from. The only thing we have is what? The Black church. And when the Black church is silent, ain't no message going nowhere. So when the Black church had to speak up and tell people what direction we should go in, how we do it, and lead them in truthfulness. Show them the way. We got to be examples. And I still want me a place in San Francisco. I just can't afford. They're still high.
Too high. You might have a COP yourself. Thanks.
Check it out.
So, I think one of the things that we can do, you call your relatives, give me their number, and tell them, get off that COP and start utilizing it.
Right.
And if we know anybody else that has a certificate of preference,
I got one.
well then, brother, that still here. Are you?
Yeah. I leave, I'm still gonna hold.
Yes, I'm still here. But yeah, that was a 10-unit apartment building that we were occupying, and all of us got one of those certificates. And we got 4 houses for 4 of the people that lived there. We told them we wasn't moving, we ain't going nowhere, and redevelopment was only giving $3,000 to move at that time. We got an attorney. We ended up all getting $6,000 and got 4 houses for the group. So we still have those certificates right now. I talked to a few of the people, and I'm going to bring them in to make sure that they get to utilize those certificates and see what can come from it.
That's right.
It's not doing any good sitting collecting dust.
That's right.
Let's put them to work. If we don't do it for ourselves, I got kids, I got grandkids.
There you go.
I'll give it to work.
Sure thing. That's good because I'm reminded of Mary Rogers, Miss Westbrooks, Essie Cowling. A lot of these people actually gave their lives for those CPs.
That's
They
right.
gave their lives. They worked hard on housing right in our city. So if you don't do nothing else, honor them.
Honor them.
For their lifetime work that they give. Those for them people. I believe Dr. Walk. A lot of folk, fought hard for those certificates.
And there might be people that don't know that they have one. Maybe it got lost in the last move or whatever. They should call NCLF and get checked out. Find out if you have one, because you might have one, or your relatives.
You can find out.
They can find out, right? And they have a whole list of all this, and they do the search to find out family and all that. So
That's good.
we need to get the word out so that people can either stop sitting on it, find out if they have one, and if so, even if they don't want to use it, pass it down to the children or our grandchildren.
Absolutely.
Let it be known.